I'm sitting in class and our math teacher has been talking for a consistent 40 minutes. Of about 20 people, 3 are listening, and my friend next to me is not one of them. He was playing Wordle to pass the time, and funnily enough, me watching that game has fundamentally changed how I look at life. If you do know how Wordle works, please skip over the next 20 seconds. Basically, you have to guess a 5-letter word by putting in various 5-letter words. After each try, every letter either turns gray, meaning that letter isn't in the word, yellow, meaning that letter is in the word but in a different place, or it turns green, meaning it is in the word and it's in the right place. He put in a word, 1 was green and 2 were yellow and the other 2 were gray, so a pretty decent guess. As an inexperienced Wordle player myself, I would have assumed for him to then try and build around that word. Instead, his next word consisted of none of those previous letters. It was completely different. When I asked him why he did that, he said it was because knowing that certain letters weren't in the word was just as valuable as knowing that certain letters were in the word. Now, you may see where I'm going with this, so please stay with me. Finding out that a certain life philosophy, habit, or just generally an idea doesn't work for you is just as valuable, and maybe this example will clarify what I mean. Let's say you have exams in 2 weeks, and right now you're studying just all the time a little bit, you know, before school half an hour, during school, during lunch break a little bit, but you're not really making any progress, and so you hear about waking up early with 2 weeks to go, so you decide tomorrow and for the next week I'm gonna wake up 5 a.m., I'm gonna study, whatnot, and after doing that you feel, you know, yeah, you're proud of yourself, but you have no more energy to study after school and you just didn't make any progress. So then you decide, alright, I'm gonna try something else now. I'm gonna go after school, I'm gonna study until dinner 4 or 5 hours after school, and then you make so much more progress. Now, despite failing initially, you actually got to a more positive place than you were before that failure, despite only having failed in between, if you see what I mean. And I think generally in life, negatives, bad emotions, frustration, anger, disappointment, sadness are just as important as the positive emotions. I'm happy summer's here in like March, but the bees are just a little bit too much. If you're like us, you're trying to live life to the max, essentially. Not like YOLO, cringe, whatever, but you know what I mean, just try and live it like with intention. I think it's one of those things that can't just be explained, it needs to be experienced, lived. Even if I tell you like, oh, when you finally won, you can think back to those times when you were suffering, but that's not really it, that's not what I'm trying to say. It's something, as I said, that you have to actually experience, and I think the only extract of, let's say, the English language that does this kind of concept justice is the quote, "There's no sun without rain."